You know, something I think that you know about me and most people know about me is I love to live my life in a posture of service to other people. And it's always amazing to me how many different situations are put before you every day and put before so many people that they never recognize that this is an opportunity to serve or an opportunity to affect a life, an opportunity to change a life. I think many people spend their lives wondering, what is my place? How do I help? And I think those opportunities are given to us, you know, daily. And it's just whether or not we recognize those opportunities. And one of those examples that I would give for that was I was in Salt Lake City with my daughter and my son and my wife. And this is back, this has to be probably 8 years ago, I'm going to say. My daughter was probably 4. My son was about 3 years of age. And we've been riding the train. That's something we like to do. We go down, we get the train and ride it downtown and then go all over downtown and ride the train and associate with people on the train. I like that social environment. And we had gotten off on 400 South up by the library, and there's a Burger King across from the library there. And my daughter and I and my son and my wife, we decided we were going to go to Burger King and grab something to eat. And when we approached the Burger King, there was what I would imagine was a homeless gentleman that was outside the Burger King, and he had matted hair and the whole 9 yards, and he was panning for money. And so my daughter said to me, Dad, that guy looks like he's probably hungry. What do you think? And I said, well, yeah, I bet he is. And she goes, well, can we feed him? And I said, well, why don't you go ask him if he's hungry, if he wants some food? And so, I stayed close to her, but she walked up to this gentleman and asked him if he was hungry. And he said, yeah, he was. And he said, and my daughter at 4 years of age said, well, my family, we'd like to feed you. And the guy said, he got a little choked by that. And he said, okay, that's great. So I approached him, introduced myself, and invited him into the Burger King. And he said he couldn't go in the Burger King. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, well, they've thrown me out, because it's winter time and I keep going in there. And I said, well, you're my guest now, so they're not going to throw you out. And so we went inside and walked up the counter, and sure enough, when we walked inside, the manager says, hey, you're not welcome there. And I had to look at the manager and say, hey, this guy's my guest, and he's going to be paying for food today, so he can come inside where it's warm. And so we walked up to the counter, and I remember the guy, when I said, go ahead and order something, I remember the guy ordered a cup of coffee. And I said, you said you were hungry. This is an opportunity for you. It doesn't order one of everything on the menu if that's what you want. And, he ended up with, 2 Junior Whoppers and a coffee and a couple orders of fries and I think it was an apple turnover or something like that. And we sat there and we just talked, and you could see how his mood lightened through that conversation with my wife and my children and myself. And, at the very end of that, when we were all finished eating and everything, I made sure, do you want anything else to eat? And when it was all said and done, the guy looked at me and he says, you know what, I just want to say one thing to you. And he said, I just want to say God bless you for taking the time to realize that I'm a man like anyone else and that I need comfort and I need care. And so I wanted to relate that story because I think God gives us the opportunity to serve and to change lives. And it's usually in the most inconsequential moments that we affect the greatest change.